Mr. Tunde Macalabi joins us now. He's the convener actually of Professionals for Change. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you.
How do you see these elections going? Talk about the preparations so far.
I think there are two sides to it. INEC must be commended for its commitment to ensure that PVCs, which will be the voting power of the people, will be delivered to centers closest to where people voted, actually at the polling units where people voted, so that it will be easy for people to collect. I've collected mine. But there are instances where I've had complaints. Actually, my wife could not collect her PVC because her temporary voter's card was invalid. So you have cases like that. But on the whole, I believe that there's a commitment, and the president also gave a directive that INEC must deliver PVCs to every Nigerian that is qualified.
Well, you have been monitoring the process, I believe, and you've also been saying what's been happening. This commendation you have for INEC, some people will say it's rather early in the day because they believe that this is a process that we ought to have been over and done with a long time ago.
INEC has had 4 years of preparation. INEC has conducted elections in some states. INEC has earned commendations from Nigerians for the successes of those exercises. But I believe that on a nationwide scale is another game entirely. So what do I think? I think that despite the logistical problems that INEC has, we must encourage INEC to deliver on its promise that every Nigerian that is qualified to have a PVC must have that PVC before February 14th.
In terms of the awareness, expectations, how people are seeking to participate in these elections, how would you rate it?
Oh, I think that it's been an exciting time. Exciting for the voters that have great expectations of a new government and what they demand from that new government. I think that there's been a great impact on the economy. There's already a transfer of wealth. Wealth is percolating from top down. I mean, the newspapers, media houses, television, radio, everybody's smiling to the bank, the printer. And so there's a positive impact on the economy.
Don't you think this is false and rather temporary? And if you look at what it is that we budgeted for the year and where the year is going to in terms of what economists are foreseeing for 2015, isn't this rather temporary and false, as it were?
Well, it's not false, it's the reality. Mm-hmm. The people are making money because in this season, politicians have to send out messages about their candidates. They have to sell their credentials to Nigerians who they hope will vote them into power. But even beyond the elections, there are grave issues, there are critical elements in our body politic that I think we need to address. Beyond the elections will come and go. There are fundamental problems with the Nigerian situation.
One must concede to you that yes, some sectors of the economy are benefiting, as it were, but we also do know that during elections some other sectors suffer. Critical infrastructure that ought to be built might not be getting attention as it should. Health services, you do know that some people have been on strike for months now. They're not being attended to, and some other areas might also be suffering the effect of the fact that right now, let's say, governance has been put on hold for this electioneering process. Do you agree with that particular notion?
Which is why some have been canvassing for one-term elective offices. One term. Because with the current arrangement, you're in office for 4 years, but you start preparing for the next elections 2 years after you're in office. And so governance suffers. So there's merit in the request
well,
by
that-
some people
well,
that we
that's-
should look at one-term, 5 or 6 year elective positions.
Well, that
and
solves
then-
the issue because
It
some
will.
people do not agree. They believe that even if you had one term, for instance, they believe that you still have to canvass for your party. It is your party that's going to be on trial at the elections. And as such, you must be there to say, this is what I have done and this is why my party should continue in
but you
office.
see, you must be in office long enough to make an impact. You must govern. But what we have now is that we spend more time in preparing for the next elections at the expense of governance. So governance suffers because we're there for 4 years. We want to quickly prepare for the next elections. And so
let me bring you.
infrastructure, health, education, and the economy suffers.
Let me bring you
because people are bothered about getting re-elected.
Let me bring you to the issues now. You're a professional. You say your group is professional for change. How do you then bring politicians to address some of these issues that you know we will definitely face immediately after the elections?
Yes, like I said, we have foundational problems. We've talked about restructuring of our polity. That is, I think, the challenge that faces the political class. And I believe that we must, whichever party comes to power, there must be an express commitment to the Nigerian people that, look, we cannot continue this way. Look at the charged atmosphere that we're experiencing now. There are ethnic innuendos already being thrown into the mix. There are religious sentiments being bandied around. So in order for us to get away from these strictures, we must address the national question. We must restructure the polity in such a way that the prize, the ultimate prize, which is Abuja, really should not be the ultimate.
You know, one key thing you just dropped this morning is elections will come and go, but the critical issues must be addressed. And I thought maybe now is the time for us to look at them again and see if they can actually key into them and start looking into such a direction. What are the critical issues you would love to see?
Oh, you know, in the 60s, we had the regional arrangement. Part of the recommendation, or part of what was thrown up during the last national conference, the position of the Southwest was that we should go back to the regional arrangement, whereby regions developed at their own pace. And so the concentration was not on the center. And the competition, the quest for power, was centered on those regions. Now we have zones. The current thinking is that, look, make zones the center of development. Devolve power to the states, such that Abuja will not be the ultimate goal.